We don't have enough room to show all of our stuff, except the only person who can show all of her stuff is Sue if she moves her stuff up. That would help, because then people can see kind of how we're tracking that stuff.
See how I mess it up.
It's actually not that hard. You'll be moving it up and down as you spend and gain. But we have, like, we'll explain kind of this whole thing, what the different sections are, and the point of the game. The game is a racing game. It's drag racing in the city streets of Raccoon City. The only reason I'm bringing that up is because in this game, for some reason, they've got Jill Valentine
As a mechanic.
Yep. Well, the person who did the artwork on DeviantArt said, what if Jill had a different career, like retired, had a different career, apparently she's a mechanic. And apparently my phone is going to church. I don't know what that's all about. Never heard that symbol before. It's a new phone. But, yeah, so we have Jill Valentine. We don't have the Ghostbusters car, do we?
No.
Do we have the Batmobile?
No.
Dang, we've got Iron Man and Millennium Falcon. And I've got Bond's car. It says Bonder, but it's Bond's car. The artwork's actually pretty good on the cars. Check it out. They're actually really cool looking. And they show it pretty clear down here, so they are neat. The artwork, is pretty good. I don't know why they have Jill Valentine as a mechanic, though. It's just an upgrade instead of a playable character, because that would be awesome. I could see her doing drag racing. Yeah, this game was a pain to get for me, because they emailed me about it, and they were like, if you kickstart this game, we'll put your website in our rulebook. And I thought, well, okay. And then Playing Board Games did an actual preview of the prototype of the game. So I watched some of it. I'm like, okay, it kind of reminds me a little teeny bit of Steampunk Rally, which I like. But instead of fully customizing the car, you're doing like quick upgrades, and then you could potentially sell those cars for more money. So I'm like, all right, it's different enough. So, but I missed the Kickstarter because I was working overtime. I didn't read the email. And they're like, don't worry, you can pre-order it instead. We'll still do it. Which they didn't do. They actually lost my pre-order, but I eventually got it after bugging them for a while. But now we're going to give it its fair shake and see if it's good. I guess it's kind of the way people describe it is it's sort of like a Euro game, essentially. Not necessarily a Euro game, but it's like a worker placement kind of game. And then the race is kind of like the reward for the work that you're doing to build up your cars. We start out Class D. We have the weakest, kind of cheapest cars. We just started. We haven't earned any money doing these backstreet races yet. But as we go, we're going to go to car shows, we're going to earn money, we're going to improve our cars, and hopefully become rich and become the Street King. So first thing we're going to do is roll off to see who gets the first player license plate. Whoa, maybe me.
Yeah. Not me.
Okay.
Not you. Not you.
I have my empty Monster Energy drink. It's perfect. Goes right with it. Alright, so I think we have everything that we need to set up. I'm trying to see if I missed anything, because none of us have played this before. We literally just got this 2 days ago. So we're kind of learning. Okay, so it looks like we have everything set up the way we needed to. So I'm still not sure what those other cards are. Maybe we'll find out. There's 2 phases. There's choosing a racing class, oh, that's the other thing that we need. We need, I think it's 2 locations. Let me check. It might be 3, because we get to customize. It's 3. So each of us get 3 location cards. Don't show anyone until you decide to use them. But here's 3 for you. And what this allows you to do is it lets you choose your class of race. We're going to be D class the first time because that's all we have for cars. But eventually you can make it more difficult for other people to join the races by using these cards to customize. And these are the locations. And if you notice, whoops.
These are locations?
Yeah.
One of mine doesn't make sense.
I'll explain what this means. Like you might notice some of them have just streets, some of them have police cars. Those are 2 different types of locations. There's police location and there's a regular race, and there are symbols kind of on the side of like what you might have to discard for upgrades if you participate in that race. And I'll explain that when I talk about the rules. The one thing I want to talk about is the car mechanics first, like because the locations play up to that. So we start out with 2 cars. These are what are considered D class cards. It tells you right here, but these are kind of the bare bones. They're not bare bones. They're just like not the best cars. The best cards are A, which is our top row that we're going to go for. Iron Man and that sort of thing. The Millennium Falcon. I love that. But each car has... Oh, I need to hold both these cards for this. Each car has their purchase values on the left. their beauty value, I think it's called, is on the right. That's what you could potentially earn for money or some money for it. You're going to add your beauty value plus any upgrade values that you have if you want to sell it, and then you divide it in half. And then if someone wants to buy it, they have to add all that. So we'll talk about that when we talk about car shows. But those are the two prices. Like, this is what, if you want to buy it from that rack, you're going to pay what's on the left. Mm-hmm. This is your potential resale value on the right. Or car show value, car show value. So that's going to make some sense in a second when I explain that. But down on the bottom, we have 4 stats right here. So we've got like what looks like a speedometer, an arrow, a steering wheel, and a tire right here. And they have stars. That's how many extra stuff you get for it, for that particular stat. So right now, this car, the only stat it really has is the arrow. Now, the leftmost, the speedometer, is your top speed. The up arrow is your acceleration. So this car can accelerate, but it doesn't do much else. The steering wheel is your handling. And then the tire is your braking. So when you're braking. So I was right. This is cost to buy. That's called beauty value. So I get that right. Upgrades that we're going to talk about over here have different colors, if you notice. But they're similar upgrades, and we'll talk about why they have different colors. But if you notice, they upgrade the different stats, those 4 main stats of your card. And then the stars that are in here is the stat value. So right now, the Bond car, one of my first cars, my only stat value is that I have a stat value 2 in acceleration. So I could potentially move further in the race, possibly. So hopefully that makes sense for the car basics. And then you pick which ones you're gonna upgrade and that sort of thing. Angie Moreau says, "I love how you're playing a racing game and it sounds like cars are racing by in the distance." yeah. So what's gonna happen is the first we keep on playing rounds until somebody gets up in here in trophies, there are 2 phases in each round, but multiple actions in one of the phases. So the first phase, whoever the player 1 is, so I start as player 1, this is going to move around the table, but I determine a class for the race. It's going to be D for the first round. We can't do anything else. Little Gremlin says, "Do cars have a never able to afford this stat?" Yeah. Right now, yes. The top row are like, what are they, 150,000 or something?
No, they're only 15.
Oh, 15,000?
15. It's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15.
Okay.
That's what we have.
And we all start the game. You can't really see it except for on hers, but we all start the game with $2,000. So not a lot of money.
And our cars are only worth 4. If we bought them on in the market, it would be 4.
Yeah.
So yeah, not even.
Yeah, our cars are sad. But so you determine the race for that round. You'll move the finish line based on that that class. And then you have to own the car in that class when choosing the class. So if I want to choose a B, I need to have that type of car. Mm-hmm. If I don't, I'm not allowed to choose it. So we want to keep track of each other, like, in case somebody makes a mistake. So for the first round, it's always a Class D event. We've already placed the finish line where we need to. Mm-hmm. And of course, we already talked about that. So then after that, we move into phase 2, where we take our actions. And we start with me, and we'll each take an action. And this is one of those things where you can do multiple actions until everybody either qualifies for the race, which you basically say, I'm going to try to qualify for the race, or pass. You may not want to participate in a race or can't because you've done other things with your cards. You can put them in a car show, for example. Mm-hmm. If it's in a car show, it cannot race, but you can potentially earn money from the car show. And that's what these are right here. We have 3 car shows. So potentially, and you could put both your cars in the car show, which blocks more people out because we only have 2 cars to start with. We'll get more.
I was going to say, you have 2 cars. You can't put one in the car show and one in the race?
Of course you can.
Okay.
But if you don't want to, if you just want to make money, you can put 2 in the car shows. You don't participate in the race, but that means somebody else can't do the car show until you get back because there's only 3 car shows. And we'll talk about that as one of the actions that you can do. You take one of the action types each turn. The action types are go to the shop, go to the car show, go to the dealership, choose a racing location, or qualify for the race, or pass. Those are your types of actions you can do. And we can keep on going until everybody has either gone to the qualification or passed. So we can talk about going to the shop first. Normally the shop is on this side because these are the shop cars, but in order to fit everything on screen, we kind of had to do it over here. So this is our shop. The way you do the game for the dealership and the shop is the dealership is for A, B, and C class of cars. You're going to pick cars equal to the number of players plus 1. So we have 5 in each row. This is our C row, so these are next step cars. And then we move up to A. And then with the shop, when you set up the shop, it's number of... it's number of players plus 1 too, so we should actually technically have 5. Sorry, I thought it was minus 1. Should I put 2 more?
I'm gonna say, do we want to put them across? Like
Yeah, I might as well put them across, and that'll give her more room for her
we'll
stuff
just leave
too.
a little bit of room.
Yep,
Make it
so you know the
obvious
difference.
there. That's not go. That doesn't
And
want
then
to go
2
anywhere.
more. Perfect. That's our shop. And of course, we're going to read these 2 as we play, so you guys know what these cards do, and what the shop cards do. When you take an action, you can buy an upgrade. The value of the upgrade is the number in the green, so it's just like the car. So this one's going to cost 2,000, for example. That mechanic's going to cost 3,000. Are you still bringing by cost?
Yeah.
You can only buy.
Actually came out in order, so
Yeah, that makes sense. You can only buy 1 upgrade per action.
Not like we
And
can
they don't
afford
get
anything
replenished immediately. They get replenished at the end when we move on to the next round. So we can empty the shop pretty quickly depending on what we do. But you buy 1 upgrade per action. So if, for example, I buy an upgrade and then no one else does, I could buy one when it comes around to my turn next time, and I'll still have more to choose from. So you buy 1 upgrade per action, not necessarily per turn. So I hope that makes sense. Then what you do when you buy your upgrade, this does not include, well, it does include mechanics, but you don't put them on your car right away. You just put them aside because you wait until you choose which car is going to race before you assign a mechanic to it. So they're available for all cars. But when you purchase a regular upgrade, so we have 2 mechanics here, those are upgrades. Those you put on your car immediately because you're essentially sprucing up your car before you decide whether it's going to race or not. The upgrades, if you notice, have the 4 stats on the bottom. You put them under your car, and it's essentially like a character sheet. So you'll have your base stats plus whatever your upgrade is. You add it all together. Does that make sense? If you notice, mechanics do the same exact thing, except you don't have to assign them right away. And they move from car to car, so you keep your mechanics for the game. Your upgrades, potentially, they stay on your card permanently, so if you sell your card, you lose those upgrades. They go, so somebody else could potentially buy your car later with those upgrades if they want to. But your mechanics don't do that. You only assign them for the race, and then when the race is done, you pull them off, and they could be assigned to another car later if you want to. So that's why they're more expensive. They are upgrades that can be moved. Does that make sense? There are also, we don't have any yet, but there are also elite mechanics, and what they look like is very similar to this, except they have stats on the right and the left. When you assign them to a card, you decide right or left. Are you going to get stats from the right or the left? And it will tell you what those stats do. It's basically these, but they're higher. They're better. And so I'm trying to think if there's a picture of one. Usually when you gain them, you get 2 in one area and you subtract 1 from somewhere else. So there is a negative.
Okay.
They're essentially boosting your car, which causes something else in the car to not work as well. So you have to decide like which one do you want to sacrifice to gain which one. And there's a sacrifice and gain on each side, so you can determine what you want to do with your car based on the race that you're equipping or I'm sorry, participating in, if that makes sense. Now, each car can only have 1 upgrade of the same color type attached to it. That's what those colors mean. So see how there's green, yellow, and black right now? You can't have 2 blacks on the same car because they're essentially upgrading the same thing. You can only upgrade something once. You can only make something so powerful. And that's where the mechanics come in because they can tweak that for you. And that's how you kind of break that rule a little bit. Does that make sense? If you have an upgrade on a car, you can also add a mechanic. You're only going to assign, I think, 1 mechanic per car, though I'll double check because you can't have an elite and regular, I don't think. And you cannot upgrade a car that is at a car show. So if you send a car to a car show and then you decide, next round I'm going to buy something, you can't upgrade that car. It's already at the show, so you can't have a mechanic show up and just start tearing it apart. So that's what that means. And again, once an upgrade has been attached, it cannot be removed or moved to another car. And then the mechanics are considered crew members. They are not color-coded.
What good are the mechanics if they can't take an upgrade off the car?
It's upgraded. You're essentially ruining the value of the car if you take it off. But crew members are not color-coded, nor are they assigned to a specific car. So again, you just keep them up in front of you until you take the qualify action. When you take the qualify action, you must decide if you're going to bring a mechanic and where they're going to, which car you're going to use and if they're going to. Now, when you buy an upgrade card, you do not reveal another card. We do that at the end of the whole thing. There's also one other upgrade that we don't have yet, but it's called NOS. It's basically nitrous oxide. And you can have one NOS attached to a card. It can be attached in addition to an upgrade, even though it technically looks black. It's colorless. Essentially what you do is, in the race, you can burn it, which means you pull it off the card and discard it, and you gain 3 movement for that. You can do that once per race. You can have more than one crew member assigned to a car, even if they're upgrading the same stat. Oh, I'm sorry. No, that's not true. I'm sorry. You can hire the same crew. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, you can have more than one assigned to a car before a race, but you cannot have the same crew member. You can't have the same crew member working for you. There are multiples of each crew member. So if I buy this one and I have her working for me, and then another one comes up, I can buy her so that you guys can't, but then I have to discard one. So I'm kind of wasting money, but it's a way to block somebody. It's sort of like a take that mechanic. So if I know that Beth really needs her, and I already have her, I can still hire her, and I just discard it because she's still working for me. It just means only she works for me. She does not moonlight.
Basically, you're paying her more money to work
just for me. So I go to her shop, and no one else gets the work done. So that's kind of how you want to think of it. It's the same person, but that same person could potentially work for multiple drivers, unless you pay them extra money to not do that. And then we already talked about the elite crew members, so we don't need to talk about that. They add 2 stars, and then they take away. This is what cars could look like with multiple upgrades. If you notice, they're all different upgrades. And then this is what a car looks like if it has an elite member as well. And the elite member lets you break a rule because you could be upgrading something that's already been upgraded. And that's what your car should look like. The only person who's ever going to show that to anyone is Sue, because no one else shows up. Well, Aaron's and Beth show up a little bit. Mine, nope, I'm invisible. I'm the invisible rider, known as Kennedy, Skid. Kennedy, but the way it's spelled, jeez. The other thing you can do is, it's kind of funny because it's like Kennedy, which could be like Canadian, Canada, and it looks like Ellen Page. So it's just funny. So the other action you can do, or another action you can do, is you can go to a car show. There are 4 players, but only 3 car shows per round. So you can only take the action if there's car shows on the board, which right now we have all 3. When you take the action, you take the card, and you put it onto one of your available cars, so that you know, like, this one is at the car show. When you place a car show card on your card, you immediately gain credits equal to the beauty value of the card, which is on the right, plus any of the upgrades. So if you notice, all the upgrades have beauty values on them too. So you gain all that money. But the thing is, the car is there for the whole round. You can never use it in a race. And you cannot upgrade it any further. So you want to choose when you go to so there's a push your luck element, because you want to, maybe I want to upgrade my card a bunch of times, but oops, people are starting to throw their stuff in the shows. So it could, you want to think about that. Now, you cannot place a car show card on a card that you've qualified. So if I choose, like, my Bond car and say that's going to be the car I put in the race, I can't then say it's going to go in the car show. You can't change your mind. You can also have multiple cars in different shows during the same round, and then you move this immediately. You gain the money immediately. So you can put something in a car show and then upgrade the car you plan on qualifying with, because you get the money right away. Yeah, it's nice. And then you just keep track of your credits right here on this Pocket Pal. The other thing you can do is go to the dealership. If you go to the dealership, you buy or sell cars at the dealership. The value of the car for purchasing is what's on the left, and that's in the green. And you can only buy a car that is one class above your current cars. So right now we only have D cars, so we can only buy Cs. Then when we have a C, we can buy a D or a C. We don't have any Ds out there, but eventually we will when we sell them. So if you want to buy an older car, which you can just use for car shows if you want, you can do that. But you can only buy one above. And you can always buy a lower class if you need to. You can also sell your car, and all the upgrades go with it. So if somebody buys that car, they will get your upgrades. You add the value of the car and all the upgrades, and then you divide it in half, rounding down, and that's what you gain. If somebody wants to buy it, they have to do the same thing, add that plus all the upgrades, all the upgrade value in green, and pay the whole amount. So you only get half. And then they can buy it. So remember, the left is for if it's in a car show, I'm sorry, the right is if it's in the car, show that money. And then the left is potentially, half of the left is what you would get if you sell it to the dealership. Hopefully that makes sense. And then, of course, don't forget to keep track of everything on your Pocket Pal to make sure that your money is accurate. Little Gremlin says, play the Vin Diesel upgrade. I think there's one of these boards, the character looks like Vin Diesel. Boo, car dealerships. Yeah, this is very realistic. They screw you over. they do. Hey, Patty. You want to come race some cars with us?
I probably would.
And then you choose the track in which the race will take place. You can only take this action if there's an empty location spot on the board. That's what these are. That's the other thing you can do. You can be the person who chooses the location. When you take this action, you draw a location card from the deck. You must then place one of your locations from your hand face down at any available location spot on the board. There are 2 spots where you can place a location card. If the deck is empty, shuffle it. So essentially what would happen if you decided to do the location, you would flip this to here and place one of your locations face down. Okay. So you're going to know what the final qualification for the trophies are going to be, but nobody else will until the race starts.
I get it.
So we know some of it, not all of it. And I'll explain like what those things do when we talk about the race. So hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah.
So part of it, everyone's going to know part of it, and only you are going to know the other half. And then the other action you can do is qualify for the race. Qualifying for the race will allow you to place your car pawn. That's what these little dudes are. They recommend to buy like Hot Wheels cars, but I didn't have any. I only just got this one, so we're going to use these. I guess we'll put them sideways so it doesn't look silly. It looks kind of like a car, as opposed to a minus sign. So we'll place our cars on the starting grid of the top most available lane on the track. So we're only going to use the top 4.
Yeah.
The number on the starting grid is the order in which the cars will move during the race. The car in the number 1 lane will move first, then the car in the number 2. And that might make sense later with upgrades, what that means, but essentially that's kind of your starting, who gets to resolve their movement. When you qualify, you must choose a car you own of the same class of that race. You may then assign crew members to that car if you have any. And of course, once you've qualified, people can still continue to do actions you're essentially passing because you've already qualified. Actually, that's not true. You can qualify or pass. Sorry.
Yeah.
Derp. And then what you're going to do is once you qualify, or the second part of the qualification, is you're going to move these around. If you notice, these match the stats of your car so that you don't have to constantly add it up.
Yeah.
You're going to pick your car, and then you're going to adjust these so you know what your total of each of those 4 segments are. Does that make sense? And then
1 1 0 0.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is if you buy upgrades and stuff, otherwise you're going to have to calculate it every time you move. And instead you're going to have it up here and you're going to know it. It's going to be a lot easier. And they don't move. They just stay there until you're done. So you add all your stars, adjust your board, so you already know what you're going to do or what you're going to be able to do during the race. You can still take actions unless you pass. When all players have taken the qualify action or passed, then no further actions happen and we move right into the racing round, which is phase 3 of the game. Now, before you start the race, if there are any location spots that are empty, we fill them with cards from the top of the location deck, face down from left to right. So if nobody took the choose location yourself, like if you don't want to customize location, you don't have to. We can go straight up random.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is fill it in. So if I chose the location, it's going to be full because we're going to draw one and then I'm going to put one. If no one chose it at all, we're just going to straight up see what happens. So this gives you some control over what's going to happen during the race. Now, location cards have 2 stats on them. So you're going to now move your pawn a number of spaces equal to the number listed on your player board for the first stat on the location card. So, for example, I'm going to just draw this and put this on the bottom.
Yeah.
So the first stat on the location card is the tire stack, and then we have this one.
Steering wheel.
Yeah, so what you're going to do, so whoever's in lane 1 is going to move up on the track the amount listed on your brake stat. Yeah, on the brake stat. Then the yellow player on the, because it's always the first one. So then the next person is going to go down. So like if Aaron and I were the only ones in the race and he was in slot 1, he'd move based on his brake stat, then I would move based on my brake stat. And then we do the same exact thing with what was it?
Handling.
Control, handling, yeah. So we start with breaks. We do all of the breaks resolution first.
Everybody
Then the next
races
one.
with that movement, and then the next movement,
Then the next
everybody
movement.
goes with that one.
Yes.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But, and then this one gets flipped, and we do it again with those?
Yes, but we do it one at a time. So, for
Right.
example, let's say Aaron placed this card face down. We do not flip this until we get to that part of the race. So we resolve this. Everybody does it. We resolve this. Everybody does it. And we flip this, and we do the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We'll leave that out in just in case we need this to show what this means.
Yep.
Because this is, of course, where the trophies are. Red one's kind of the first one that's just, it's a ribbon.
Yeah.
It's not actually a trophy. It's like consolation prize.
Yeah.
It's like, wah wah, you sucked, but well, here's a participation ribbon. Look at your card, it's so pretty. And slow.
That's too, right?
So we're going to do that
They can
again.
race for free.
Only the second card is used to determine the prizes. So
Mhm.
even though the other one's going to have stats at the top, you ignore the top stats. You only do the bottom stats for the first lane.
So you get $2 grand, $1 grand, $1 grand, nothing.
Yeah. Now, when a card lands on the finish line, place the card pawn above the corresponding prize. So if I cross the finish line first, I would go there. And then you continue down until in a 6-player game they still get this. Everybody just kind of bunches up here. Yeah.
Oh.
you always get at least a ribbon. It's literally a participation prize. But in our case, it's first, second, third, and fourth. So my card would go there, and then whoever came in second would go there. You just kind of pull them off and put them there so you know who to give the money to.
So it's based on how far they got, because only one person crosses the finish line.
No, I think you keep on. Yeah, well, yeah, it's yeah.
I'm just wondering, does it stop when one person crosses the finish line, and that's where
Yeah,
you are?
it's
Or?
once you cross the finish line, it stops. Then wherever you are, but everybody gets to resolve their turn though. So
Okay,
if you can
good.
still move further, you might hit the finish line, but not first.
Okay.
So as soon as you cross the finish line, you go wherever the appropriate prize is, and then afterwards you figure out who.
So
who
if you
else.
cross the finish line, we'd still get to move.
Yes.
The rest
Yeah.
of us
To
would
see if. Yeah.
Well,
As long as
I
you-
think if you don't cross the finish line, you just get the ribbon. Let's check.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, once you cross the finish line, you put in the corresponding prize. So if I cross first, I go to gold. If Aaron cross second, he gets silver. Vice versa. If a card does not reach the finish line when all 4 location stats have been completed, there's 4. Oh, that's right. Sorry. Then you continue using the first location card as if you're doing laps. So you could potentially still go.
So you would just keep going through the card until everyone is
somebody, yeah, until everybody crosses. You can pause the game during the race. Oh, that's cool. You can pause the game during the race by using the tire. You just put it on the stat, like wherever you are. You're like, I pause. Time out. Gotta fix my car. For the current stat that and the arrow marker for the current lane. It doesn't say that you move the arrow marker down though. It just says it starts on 1. That must be as we're moving. We must move
it's
it down.
essentially like this person just moved. Now this person moves. This
So you keep
person
track of
moves,
it.
This person
All right. Okay, that makes sense. So you can pause the game during the race, use the tire marker on the current stat, and the arrow marker for the current lane to keep track of where you are stopped. Oh, okay. So you move the arrow marker, so it just stays there.
Yeah.
But if Sue is in, say, second,
Yeah,
and she
she's
needs to
in
pause
lane
it, we
2,
just
yeah.
need to know that she's going to be the one continuing next.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. And that probably doesn't matter unless you have other, like your mechanics can do stuff or you have special abilities, because it doesn't really say why you would pause it, honestly. But you
Someone
can.
left to go to the bathroom.
You could be like, be right back, I have to go to the restroom. But you could
Stop
do that.
the race! I have to go.
But you might have the ability to move stuff around, and if you do, you want to take advantage of that. But that's kind of funny.
You're gonna hit the pit. Your mechanic's gonna come out and fix it.
That's exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when all the cards have reached the finish line, it's time to give out the trophies. From left to right, starting with the last car.
So
The fifth and
everybody
sixth
does
place
actually
receive no
have to
credits,
cross this finish line.
but still get a red ribbon. Fourth gets ribbon and credits. Okay, so in our game, somebody's always going to get some money.
Yeah. So in 5 or 6 players, they'll
You
get
get the
the
ribbon.
ribbon, but they won't get the money.
Exactly. Yeah.
That makes more sense.
Yep, that does. And then, but because we have 4 players, we'll all get some money, which is good.
Well,
So
it looks like not.
Oh yeah.
Because it's gonna cost us $2 grand to do the race.
yeah, and then so you move up your thingy based on whatever you win. So third gets bronze in credits, second gets silver in credits, and finally the winner gets gold in credits. And then you place the player cubes in the corresponding trophy track that's appropriate. If you reach 2 trophies of the same type, they must immediately trade those 2 for one of the next level. So if Beth hits this, she will put this back to 0 and go up 1 in here. You can chain react.
Oh, well, that's good.
But your 7th gold trophy, because that's what ends the game essentially, cannot be traded up. You must earn that from a race. So you can keep on trading up and get trophies faster until you get to the last trophy that has to be earned. So hopefully, does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you're gonna, and you immediately bounce down to these other ones, so it resets. Otherwise, we'll constantly boost up too fast. Now, the red X on the second location, it means that the winner of this race will have to discard the corresponding upgrade attached to the winning car.
Oh, and if you can't do it, you have to pay the money. Is that what that
Yes.
says? Okay.
If you do not have that, well, if you don't have the upgrade, nothing happens. But this is a police card. This is a little bit different. If it has a question mark, that means it's the police card. The winner must choose between discarding any one upgrade. That's why there's a question mark, or paying a $2,000 credit fine.
So if you don't have an upgrade, you will pay a $2,000 fine.
Yes. Crew members can never be discarded this way. Players take back the car pawn after receiving their prize. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then the last part. What? Oh, you're looking at locations?
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand what the upgrade what the upgrade is.
See how it has a picture? It should correspond to one of these 4 stats.
Yeah, so, but if it has a color as well, it has to be that color?
That color,
So
yes.
if you have that right one, but it's the wrong color, it doesn't count?
If you don't have it, you're fine. You can win the race, and you don't. Nothing happens if you don't have the upgrade. If you do have the upgrade,
You have to get rid of it.
you have to get rid of it. Now, if it's a police thing, it's different.
Right.
The
If
police
it's a
thing,
police thing,
you can choose between getting rid of an upgrade or
you lose the money.
lose
If
You're basically burning something out to get ahead of the cops, so you're paying the fine because you got caught.
Exactly. But if you don't have the corresponding upgrade, it doesn't matter. There's no negative for that. There is a negative for the police because if you don't even have the money here, you're going to lose it from your winnings. So you could potentially come out with 0 winnings if you're somebody who only won $2,000.
Yeah, that doesn't
Oh, wait, that wouldn't matter. Actually, it's only the winner,
Yeah,
the actual
only the
gold
winner
winner.
get hit.
Okay,
So you will lose just a
because
good
the
chunk of
cops
your
get
money.
the first person, and the other people are like,
They're going after the person who went fastest.
Right. That's exactly what
and
it
everybody
is.
else is spy goes,
And that person stopped first. So
In that case, you want to be second.
yeah, exactly. Because then you still get the 3,000.
Yeah, especially if you don't have an upgrade to burn. Yeah, you
Exactly.
want to try to be second.
And then after that, once we've done the race, we do the cleanup phase, which is the last part where you take all of your car show cards, you put them back on the board, you remove the location cards from the board and discard them, and the first player marker moves to the left, and you discard all cards from the shop, everything that hasn't been bought, so we reset that, and we pull out 5 more, and then we start a new round. So the shop will stay there until the thing. And there's just a couple important rules. Can't trade for the 7th trophy. The final round differs in ways from the other rounds. Play this final round with the rules changes if you want. And the finish. The final round is always the finish marker set to Class A. The first player cannot choose the class of the race because it's A. So on that final round, when somebody hits the 7th trophy,
so
there's
someone's
one
going-
more special round called the championship round.
Yeah.
So you could. That's why you can go up to 8. And then place the top 2 location cards on the top of the location deck face down, so nobody gets to know what the final round race is going to be.
Alright,
So that's kind of cool.
The question is this a green
No,
upgrade and a
it's-
yellow upgrade, or is this
Yes.
a red
It's off
upgrade?
the,
Okay.
I believe, no.
So
I
then
believe
what
It's
is
off the
it's-
bottom.
Then
Yeah.
what is the yellow? Okay.
So there are different colors up there just for artwork, I think.
Yeah.
But if you notice, it's like that's a red one, that's a yellow upgrade for steering,
Okay.
which it's not steering. What's it called again? Finesse.
Handling.
I'm just gonna call it
And then the
handling.
last one is brakes, and
Yeah.
that's red.
Mm-hmm.
So like if I want, and if you notice, they're kind of all. I think they're probably all the same color. So handling's
Yeah,
probably always
I think
yellow. So you can't have 2 handling.
Yeah, I think that's what that means.
Yeah,
Because it'd be weird to have a bunch of different brakes.
exactly.
Well, because this is a green and this is a yellow.
Yeah, but the actual
Yeah,
color.
you can't
You
just
can
fit
just have
multiple brakes
one
on the
of-
car.
Yeah.
Can you replace?
Right.
Like,
It doesn't say you can. You just can't. You can't. Once you have it, it's there forever.
So essentially, each type of
This doesn't say
upgrade
you
you
can-
can only
you can't
have
ever-
one of.
Right.
Yeah.
So you could have a
So
brake
if you
upgrade, a
have a
steering
one-star
upgrade.
upgrade to your brakes, you can't replace it with a 2-star.
No, because they can never be removed. They're permanent.
So you'd have to get
You
a
have to
new
sell the
car
car.
to put a new brake on.
Yep.
So essentially, you're going to if you're buying an upgrade, it's either you're using it as showroom fodder, or you're using it. You actually need that upgrade for the race.
Exactly. Unless, one way you can get rid of an upgrade, though, is if you think you can win the race, throw a police car there, and then you just get to throw away the upgrade for free.
That's how you could burn your upgrade. Yeah, thank you, police.
Because you have to rip it off and give it to them as bribes. That's nuts.
Took a shortcut too hard.
Yep.
Just rip the upgrade right off the car.
Alright, so I get to go first, and... God, everything's so expensive. Is there anything that's just for
So
2,000?
did you say we get like
Yeah, all
2
the
actions
all the-
a turn
all the
or something?
regular
How many
upgrades.
actions a turn?
It's one action.
One
and then-
action, and then we'll keep going around.
Okay.
Around and around and around. Alright, so that does that. Sorry, I'm just trying to determine
How
if
do
that
you
is
decide
useful.
to start a race? You just announce your...
Once everybody's qualified or passed.
Oh, right.
So if you decide to pass, like you've qualified, you're like, I don't have anything else to do, people can still keep going until they all pass and get ready for the race.
And I don't see that going to be a continuous problem until later in the game when people have money.
Exactly. Exactly. Alright, I am going to... Sorry.
That's fine.
I'm going to spend $2,000 and buy that handling card upgrade. Thank you. And I'll put it on the Bondmobile.
I'm picking a location.
Woo, that was quick.
Alright.
Shoot. Yep, that's exactly what you flip one up. We get to see
Someone
that
gets
one.
flipped. Yeah.
So we know it's coming.
Acceleration and handling and the the new upgrade you just got.
But that one doesn't count.
That doesn't count, no.
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't have to worry about it, but it means I can move 3.
Yeah, with her current car, yes.
Because I was guessing what that first card was going to be, and I was hoping that was, yeah. If I put that card in the race, I might even put that card in the race. Who knows?
Yeah.
Because this one has stats in both. Well, actually, no, it has crap stats now.
That just means that if this was here, if she won, she has to destroy her upgrade if she wants
Yes.
to.
If it's a police one, yeah.
Well, I meant if it has an X.
Oh, that's right.
If that
yes,
was
yes,
here,
yes.
you
Yeah.
would lose that.
But if I don't have what was there,
Yeah.
like if it's a breaks, it won't matter to me.
Yeah. But I mean, if it is the
Yeah.
corresponding color.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So by qualifying, you just basically say you're going to race?
Yeah, it lets you go. If you choose that right away, you get to put that car. You don't get to upgrade it any further.
Right. Would you be the first
But
person
you'd be the
to
first
go?
person to go.
Okay.
And I think you can't take any further actions after you qualify, correct?
You can take other actions,
okay.
just not with that car.
Not just that car.
Yeah, the car
That,
is just,
like you don't.
yeah.
You want to make sure that car's ready before
Mhm.
you put it in there.
That's kind of nasty then. Oh, well.
You said you don't lose mechanics, right?
You do not lose mechanics.
No, but you need $3,000.
You can get that just by putting
Yeah,
on your
that's
car
what
car
I was
show.
thinking.
Yeah,
I was thinking that just now. I was like,
If you
maybe I
don't-
should have done
and then-
that.
Separate the cars.
So I'm going to put this car in the show.
Okay, you'll have to just take. Which one do you want? Do you want to do the Bored to Death Presents Car Show
Does it matter?
Montreal in July? No, it's just for fun.
Oh.
And then you've got the DJ Vince, DJ James, DJ GC, August 29th. Well, actually, June 1st through August 29th. All class cars welcome. It is the car show. And then we have one night only car show presented by Bored to Death. That's the name of the folks that created the game, Bored to Death TV. And it's this Saturday at Shea Geek.
I'll do the first one.
This one?
Yeah.
Shea Geek. It's only $6 to go.
So what?
You just put the car aside and put the card that on top of it, so you know that car can't be upgraded any further. You immediately gain 1,000.
Oh, okay.
So
Sweet.
move your thingy up so that so you get a mechanic for the one if you want. I'm gonna qualify my car. If you can put me there, thank you. Oh, but just put it sideways though, so people can see that it's a car. One day I might have Hot Wheels cars for that.
That would be cool.
They have people
Except
who have
they
like.
would roll away. Probably.
No, people use them all the time. It seems to work pretty well. As long as you
Okay.
don't bump them around like too bad, but.
This is. Oh, my turn again.
Mhm.
So I'm. They're both the same. So-
Yeah, both
Yeah.
handling.
You don't want Joe Valentine? You can leave it.
Yeah, I was just thinking that I can wait.
I mean,
Anyway.
you only have one card to use if you want to race, so you don't really have a choice. But
Is there a limit to how many cards you can have?
Nope.
as long as you have the money.
I know.
And that's why I'm like, do I want to
cards. You can
keep this car or sell this car? I'll pass.
I'm going to.
You want Jill Valentine?
Maybe. No, I'm gonna qualify.
I wonder what this discard pile is for. Doesn't say. I still wonder what those other cards are. I think it's an expansion.
Yeah, and they don't give you the rules for the expansion.
No, there's no rules for these cards at all.
I believe they're goals. They are,
I think they're like you get maybe it's a hidden goal, and if you do it,
Yeah.
you get the bonus money.
like if you for this one, if you upgrade, you
Yeah.
get money. Upgrade, you get money.
So it looks like
Upgrade, you get money. If you do these 2 car shows, or if you do 2, because they have 2 different sides. So assuming you do 2 car shows, you get money.
I don't know.
I'm not quite sure about
What are
that
some of the
one.
variant rules? Well, I'll probably end up doing is look at their Kickstarter because they probably have. It's probably because what they did. One thing that's cool that they did is the stuff that was in the Kickstarter as promo stuff. They like included with the first printing of the game. So if you notice, like pylons, like this one has a pylon on it. That's a promo card. That may or may not be available in the further iterations of the game. I say pylon, but it's a cone. I meant cone.
Yeah, you can actually.
Yep, it doesn't say.
Oh, my turn?
You
Okay.
actually have a good shot.
Oh, they have a thing where you can actually
look at
gamble
it.
on the
I'm
races
not
too. It's a variant where you can possibly make money.
Cool.
Yeah, yep.
Alright.
So we
Give her
do
one
this to put our stats
Yeah.
where they are.
So mine is nothing for that. 2 for that. 1 for that and nothing for that. Should be interesting.
I have brakes.
Your brakes. So you just, that's kind of funny that it's just brakes. What it means though is you're still
Yeah.
driving, you just handle corners better. Okay. Your car's upside down, you're driving.
I'm just picturing
He
you
hit his brakes really hard.
at the start of the race, and you're just like braked.
This is like how drives like. Okay, so we start with this, and so we just start from top to bottom, and I have 2, so I move 2 spaces.
I move nothing.
Okay,
I moved 1.
1.
nice. And then we do the steering wheel. I move 1.
I move nothing.
I moved nothing.
2. No.
Ooh.
No. Red.
Yep. And then we flip this,
Mhm.
and we have brakes.
I know. I put that card there.
Yep,
So
Nothing.
I move nothing.
I moved 1.
Nothing.
All right, and then we have handling. I move 1.
I move nothing.
I moved nothing. Handling's the one thing I don't have.
I'm so close. And then we
Goes
move
back to the
to
first one
the
again.
first one, so I move 2.
She went here, so she gets
Yeah, but that's why I put that card there because you bought that upgrade.
Oh, I don't mind. I don't mind.
I know. I'm like, well, you bought the upgrade, so here, let's put this here.
So you.
So I don't move.
I go 1.
1.
So
Yay,
you're in
second
second.
place.
Then it's going to go to handling,
Nothing.
nothing. Then it's going to go to brakes.
Nothing.
Then it's going to go to accelerate to handling again.
The handling again?
Yep, because it's
There's
the last
still
one.
2 handlings.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, I go.
And then it's going to go back to acceleration,
1.
handling.
1.
Do you have handling?
Oh no, sorry.
Oh.
I jumped in.
Yeah.
Nope.
Then brakes.
For
I knew
having a lot of acceleration, you were slow.
I only have one acceleration.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had a lot of
No,
acceleration.
she had-
I started out with 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She had a bunch of acceleration.
I have one in everything, but the one there's 2 of.
Yeah.
I have acceleration handling. That seemed to work for
Because
the
as
car.
long as
It
that
makes sense.
hadn't been
Another
a
handling.
handling, I would have been faster.
Oh, that's why I was contemplating getting gel, because then I would have moved on
Oh, no,
3
no,
of the
no.
Yeah.
3 of the things.
Because
So I
Jill
discard
would have
this.
given me all 4.
Discarded my thing, and then I made 5.
Yep.
So I did that, and then I get 1 gold trophy.
Yep.
And then my car comes back.
And then you're going to get a silver trophy.
Are we not going in this order?
I just went down. Oh, I guess it doesn't matter. It's silver. No, it's you go
Yeah.
in the order of
Alright,
the trophies.
so
you
I
a
get-
silver.
You get
Silver and 4,000.
Yep. So you move your pocket thing up.
We don't get
4,000.
anything for this. Just
No.
this.
No,
Nope.
just the first
That's
one.
the only one you get.
Just the
That's
just
the one
the
you want.
finish. So you get 4.
Yeah.
Plus, if you had some, then I already gave you a trophy, so you can take your car. And then Aaron gets 3, and he gets a bronze trophy.
So I get a consolation ribbon
You get a
and
ribbon and 2.
And money. Then we discard these, and we discard the last 2 markets.
So Jill and
Jill goes away. Sorry, Jill Valentine. None for you.